Sean Hannity Show. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America.
Hour 2, Sean Hannity Show from Florida. You don't want to miss our town hall tonight. Ron DeSantis, Senator Marco Rubio, Senator Rick Scott. It should be a lot of fun as we continue our lead up to the election, which is now only 12 days away. That's it, 12 days from now. We'll be going over the results, I'm sure, 12 days from now, but, this time in 2 weeks, but hopefully it'll work out the way we want. Look, we're following very, very closely a lot of Senate races all around the country. And to the surprise of the mob and the media, to the surprise of the Democratic Party, there are states now that are in play that they never thought they'd have to worry about. One of them is in the great state, the live free or die state of New Hampshire, where it's now between one poll, a 1-point race, another poll, a 3-point race, all within the margin of error, all achievable. And that's with General Bolduc versus his opponent, Senator Hassan. Now, Senator Hassan had to admit recently that, in fact, Joe Biden's energy policies are not exactly working for the people of New Hampshire. Now, last week, you may recall, I told you about the story that there is a real fear of blackouts, meaning no heat for people in all of New England because of the lack of supply of natural gas. I mean, this is a real problem. Never mind the fact that the early indication is the prices are going to go up anywhere between 30 and 40% all throughout New England to heat your homes, whether you heat it with oil or gas or electricity. It's going through the roof, and it's going to have an even greater impact this winter because the average family is now paying $7,200 more than they were paying for the same items when Donald Trump was president. Anyway, here's what Senator Hassan said in his interview.
The president over the weekend said the economy is, quote, strong as hell. Do you agree with that?
I think there is much more the administration needs to do, especially around energy costs.
She didn't really want to answer the question. Now, so far, the mob of the media in every single state, they've given all of these Democratic Senate candidates a pass. Why? I don't know. Anyway, her opponent in this race is making great inroads into winning. He's been campaigning all over the Granite State and doing very, very well. General Don Bolduc is back with us. So you're now within the margin of error. You're in striking distance here. And we now see polls that show Governor Sununu, who's, the Sununu name is synonymous with New Hampshire. He is now on the ticket running for governor again. He's been on this show supporting you and supporting your candidacy. And you really can win this race. But my fear is that Republicans on the national level and Mitch McConnell and company, they're not putting enough money behind your campaign. Is that true?
Well, Mitch McConnell did remove about a little over $5 million. Why he did this, I'm not exactly sure. But he went ahead and did it. And, the National Republican Senate Committee, Rick Scott, and the RNC under Ronna McDaniel and others came in to, fill the gap. We've been working hard to do that. And we're getting pretty close to making up the deficit that was caused by the, unplanned, unscheduled reversal of Mitch McConnell's funds.
I'm trying to understand why it would take away money from you, and this is a race that's winnable, and give it to Lisa Murkowski. He's given now over $10 million to Lisa Murkowski, and she's battling a Republican. And Kelly Chewbacca is in the lead, and it seems like Mitch McConnell is afraid of Kelly Chewbacca maybe winning, because if she wins, that would mean that probably she's not going to vote for Mitch McConnell, especially after this.
Well, I'm on the record in the primary. I'm just going to give it to you straight here. I'm on the record in the primary and in the general election as a no vote for Mitch McConnell as leader. That's just a fact. And that's exactly what I am sticking to and what I will do in the United States Senate. But, Maggie Hassan's not going to vote for him either. So, you want a Republican down there, a conservative Republican, someone who's going to work to improve this economy, stop the out-of-control spending, secure this country, make our foreign policy stronger, then you should be investing in me. I have come up 11 points since the primary. We're neck and neck right now. And I'm going to be bold and audacious here, Sean, and I'm going to tell you, I think the next poll is going to have us ahead. I don't know by how much, but I think we're going to do it. And that is going to really shake the timbers across this nation, particularly in Washington, D.C., with all the pundits who sit behind their desk and think they know what's going on in New Hampshire. When I've been doing this for 2 years, every town and city, talking to Granite Staters. And, Maggie Hassan, we just finished an NHPR debate, and the place was loaded with, her supporters. My supporters couldn't even get in. And all the questions were, favored for her. It was a lion's den. But, hey, I went in there and I slaughtered the lion's den, right? And she denies, continues to deny that energy is the problem. She continues to deny that Granite Staters are hurting. She thinks that depleting our strategic oil reserve is a good idea. Suspending the gas tax is going to be a good idea. She's got a Scooby-Doo Band-Aid, and she's trying to put it on a compound fracture. The bone is through the skin up here. People are not going to be able to afford food. It is a choice between heating and eating. They're not going to be able to pay their bills. We're going to have blackouts, and that is what is happening up here. So I need people's help at donbolduc.com. We can win this, Sean, and this will be a victory for Granite Staters and the American people.
Let me tell you about an article on the Bloomberg News today, and it talks about, the impact of Joe Biden's war on domestic energy production. And they say with 2 weeks to go until the midterm elections, the U.S. is now facing the prospect of higher fuel prices amid the escalating supply crunch. And then it goes on to say beyond the gas inventories are at an 8-year seasonal low, while supplies of diesel, we're at like 24 days worth of supply. That's all we have. That is an unmitigated danger and disaster. That's a clear and present danger to me. And on the East Coast, the situation is getting more dire, with infrastructure constraints limiting fuel shipments and prompting suppliers to start rationing fuel. I mean, this is the United States of America. Now we're going to ration fuel, and they're talking about the entire power grid having the possibility of going out all throughout New England. Now, my understanding is that the usual amount or supply of natural gas is down by it's 10% of what its normal level should be. Have you looked into that?
I sure have. 18 billion cubic feet is what we normally get of natural gas. We're only getting 2. And, as you say, we're at a national crisis with our fossil fuel energy. And people are, going to pay the price for this. And they just sit there and dismiss it, out of hand, over some Green New Deal that requires, fossil fuel to make a possibility anyways. The country's not ready for it infrastructure-wise. We know that. But, Sean, we're doing our enemy's job for us. One of the things that you want to do is take out critical infrastructure if you're the enemy. Well, geez, you don't have to spend any time on that because Biden and Hassan are doing it for you. They're depleting our energy.
I wish the election were in the middle of January, because then you'd win by 15 points easily here.
Right.
This article goes on to say that home heating oil suppliers are now rationing deliveries to cope with the Biden oil shortage that he's created here. I mean, that means we're going to have many American homes, by every indication, not being able to heat their homes at the level that they would like to heat it, the comfort level that they prefer and desire. And on top of that, there's not going to be enough supply to do so. And then add to, insult to injury here, we may have literally people freezing to death this winter.
That's absolutely right. We're going to have our elderly who are going to be, freezing cold. We're going to have children that are cold. We're going to have school closures because they don't have any power. They can't heat properly. Children are going to be sitting in classrooms with, gloves, hats, and jackets on, and layering. It's just going to be unbelievable, and it's completely unnecessary because we have the resources here to be able to provide Americans with the necessities that they need at a very affordable price. But they're not allowing that to happen. And I got to tell you, they need to be held accountable at the polls on 8 November. And I could sure use people's help at donbolduc.com.
Well, we're watching this race very closely. You are now neck and neck with Maggie Hassan. You can win this race. And I hope you do. I hope people remember your service to your country. 2 Purple Hearts, 5 Bronze Stars, many with valor, and so many other military decorations. I can't even begin to list them. Anyway, we really appreciate you being with us. We're not going to give up on your campaign. I think you can win this race, and it would be a huge victory for Republicans to have this pickup. She is one of the most vulnerable Democrats out there, not particularly well liked by the people of New Hampshire. She's done nothing except be a rubber stamp for everything Biden and Chuck Schumer, and all the problems we're having in part are because she's going along with her party on every radical position they've now taken. But anyway, General Bolduc, thank you. We'll continue to stay in touch with you.